Hello and welcome to the video, The Iceberg Model of Intercultural Communication. In this video, we would like to introduce you to the Iceberg Model of Intercultural Communication. The model helps us to understand why misunderstandings can quickly arise when communicating with people from other cultures. At the same time, it provides us with important information on how we can communicate with each other more successfully. So let's dive in together. Icebergs are impressive natural beauties rising out of the water, but what we see is only a small part of the whole. In fact, only about 10 to 15% of an iceberg is above the surface of the water. The much larger area lies hidden under the surface. This comparison is a good way to illustrate cultural differences. When we meet people from other cultures, we first notice the visible, obvious aspects. The way they greet people, how they dress, the language they speak, or the music they prefer. All these visible elements correspond to the part of the iceberg that is above the water. But just like a real iceberg, most of it is hidden under the surface. The not directly visible, deeply anchored components of a culture are just as important, maybe even more important. These include, for example, a person's values, beliefs, norms, mindsets, attitudes, habits, and feelings. These invisible cultural elements strongly influence how people interact and communicate. We would like to illustrate this with an example. In culture A, direct eye contact is seen as a sign of honesty and interest. In culture B, however, the same gesture is seen as disrespectful or aggressive. Here, direct eye contact is the visible part of the iceberg, but the different cultural meaning that lies under it often remains hidden. If these different perceptions of eye contact are not reflected upon and communicated, misunderstandings can arise. For example, someone from culture A who views eye contact as positive could wrongly assume that their counterpart is rude or disinterested if they avoid eye contact. Conversely, someone from culture B might perceive eye contact as aggressive or intimidating, and perceive it as disrespectful. A lack of sensitivity to different cultural meanings can lead to confusion and misunderstandings that make interpersonal communication more difficult. If we only look at the surface-level characteristics when communicating with people from other cultures, we run the risk of overlooking important cultural contexts, which can lead to misinterpretations, misunderstandings, and conflicts. To summarize, the iceberg model of intercultural communication shows us how important it is not only to focus on the visible cultural differences, but also to take the deeper invisible values and beliefs seriously. In order to communicate successfully across different cultures, we should not judge a book by its cover, but rather communicate and reflect openly with each other about moments of irritation or perceived differences. If we are willing to consider different perspectives and take the time to understand the hidden parts of cultural icebergs, we can build bridges more easily and communicate more effectively. Reflection processes are crucial for this, but we'll explain why in our next video. With this in mind, we hope that the iceberg model will help you to better understand future intercultural experiences and avoid misunderstandings. Thank you for watching and see you next time.